to put into somebody's local government to buy tricycles and cooking stoves. And what I want to ask you is about, you said that in this pyramid, the real kind of difficult relationship is between those with the vision and those on the ground, being the civil servants. But I want to ask you whether there's something to be said about the relationship between those that have the vision, the executive, and those that have their own kind of vision, if you will, in the legislature.
Thank you, Julie. You've really touched it, and that is the challenge. The challenge is the peculation of the vision through the labyrinth, through the whole gamut, in such a manner that the visioner or the group of visionaries may not even be there, but the work will get done. I remember very clearly that there was a challenge between the Ministry of Works and Housing and I think the National Assembly members, where they had to take away certain portion of the budget for the the Lagos-Ibadan Express Route, and there was the Lagos-Ibadan Express Route, yeah, or I don't know which of the roads, but they almost like tinkered with it, and what they discovered that made it practically impossible for that particular project to be completed within that particular budget year. Now, what you're saying is the truth. If there was this sync between the vision and through the strategy and business model, that tinkering wouldn't have happened. Because if the vision says, you know what, by the end of 2018, I want the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road with the rail working, all fund and funding, all strategy and all capacities will be deployed towards achieving that. But because there is this modulation as to what is important to me if I'm in the National Assembly, and what is important to me if I'm in the executive, there is this unseeming competition as to who we are satisfying. Just as you mentioned, the kitchen, the kitchen utensils, or a borehole, which is by all means important. How does that tie into the strategic vision of ensuring that the Lagos-Ibadan corridor triggers a major strategic business development, given that the port that is in Lagos, and this is a major artery. So that is a distortion, and that is what capacity does. That's what rigor does. That's why there is a need for synergy. There is need for strategy. So guys, we are here. I've always said it here before, you guys. The essence of government is to make the people happy. So if this is your vision, you build hospitals to make the people happy. You build a road to shorten their times of travel to make them happy. You build airports to make it easy for them to travel. So, and I'm not talking about what this guy did in Imo State, where he's appointed a minister for happiness. That's not what I'm talking about. That's very mundane and very, very, it challenges, the thoughts and thinking of people that are in leadership. And I'm talking about getting things done that will trigger happiness and joy. It's not the ministry, So the point I'm making here is that there is need for a harmonization. And I lay this, I put a couple of pressure on the presidency. They need to get all arms of government and rally them to a place where they are able to see the vision. There is still doubt that these guys know they want to do something. So
the timelines we're looking at now is sometimes in March next year to have the 2018 budget to fully come on stream and be implemented as according to the dictates of it. But what do we do now at this point because of these challenges that the budget 2018 is facing? What must be done now, say from the side of the executive, the side of the legislators, the Senate and the House of Representatives, to ensure that we have a smoother transition into budgetary allocations and budgetary expenditures, budgetary processes as a whole from now on?
You must create I will call it a bicameral committee that will harmonize this. It can't be the way they're doing it. You need to create people from here, people from there, and set a committee, and they will work from that pyramid in such a way and in such a manner that is a seamless. Because the way you're going, we will do this again in 2019. The way this is going, and that would be a shame, because the essence was to begin to harmonize the budget year to be January to December.
If I'm getting you right, that means we cannot really change the budget cycle from January to December? Because if it happens in 2019 again, as you're forecasting,
no, but
it's very likely to happen in 2020.
No, the forecast was this thing was supposed to have ended at this end of this year. You know, the problem with this kind of ad hoc pursuit is this. You're going to release money in December that, because if you say you must finish it before the end of the year, you're going to see people put money in things that are not really, they just spend it. That's why there's need absolutely also to bring people to ensure and monitor this budget implementation. Because if you get in and you've just released 750 billion plus last week, yes, there are projects that are waiting to absorb some of these things, but you also must make sure that it's monitored and begin a gradual termination of the 2017 budget by ensuring that 2018 budget kicks in early. That's the point I'm making by a bicameral committee that will ensure this must be set as visions. We want to ensure that, yes, 2017 is dragging, but it will not drag beyond this date. Yes, 2018 is late in starting, but we must start by this date. So that kind of conversation must go on between these guys. So this kind of banter, don't forget, both of them are working for the people. There's absolute need to harmonize these things in such a way and in such a manner that we bring closure to 2017
That's
and
a good place to
the beginning of 2018.
Thank you so much indeed. Pascal Odibo, financial analyst, thank you so much for talking to us on this very important Nigeria's budgets and the pending quagmires in it. Sunrise Daily will be back after these messages. Join us again.